Welcome back, everyone, to Yindi Yang. I'm very excited. I don't know why, but I'm just so excited. Okay, so today we are making some vegan gumbo. So this will be one of my last videos of doing a tutorial on making a vegan meal, and next week we'll be diving into a vegan protein smoothie. And firstly, I will start off by telling you guys to make sure you like, subscribe, share, and leave a comment down below. As you guys watch this, make sure you watch it all the way until the end if you are going to attempt to make it, because I kind of cook from the souls. Not kind of. I'm an intuitive cook, so I don't measure. I kind of just feel it out, and it always turns out great because I trust myself and I'm listening to my ancestors and let them guide me through making it. So it'll be great to watch it all the way through. Everything is still going to be in great chronological order, so that'll be helpful. You're just gonna have to fill it out when you make it yourself. So make sure you watch it all the way through, and at the end I will be giving some tips, advice, and some thoughts I have about the results of it. Okay, let's get to cooking. All right, now here are the ingredients that I used to make it. This is not including the seasonings. I will be putting all of the things that I use at the bottom in the description section of the video. So now washing off the okra, I did dip them in some vinegar and water just to make sure they're thoroughly clean. And now we're going to make sure they're thoroughly dried. This will help prevent that sliminess texture that we get when sometimes you make okra. So now here are the sweet cipolline onions. So what we did here is make sure we cut off the ends or the butts of the onions. And then after that, we slice them just to get them enough to peel the skin off and run them under cold water to peel off the rest of the skin. So now I ended up cutting them into fourths. I didn't slice them the long way, just the short way, because I like the size of them. And while those are on the stove, I went ahead and cut the okra. So you see, this is about the size that I ended up cutting them. And you don't have to keep the ends. I ended up keeping the whole bit of the okra because I don't mind the little tips of them. And again, you may get a little sliminess here, but don't worry, because when we put them on the stove, that will dissipate. So now I ended up using extra virgin olive oil. So while I was cutting the okra, I had the onions on the stove. So now we're adding the okra next, because having them on the stove is also going to help that sliminess be reduced, so they're not slimy at all when they're in the gumbo. So now I'm adding the minced garlic. There you go. And now we're going to stir it up for a minute. So while those are on the stove for about a medium to low temperature, I went ahead and cut my bell peppers the long way. I didn't actually cut them this fast. I just sped up the recording speed. And we're also going to cut them the short way. And this is how they're going to look. And now we're going to go ahead and add them to the pots. All of them. I used probably like 1/4 of each bell pepper, red, orange, and yellow. So now you can kind of see them on medium. And we go ahead, stir it up, and now we're adding our seasonings, starting with paprika. Once again, season to taste. Put as much as you like. Now we have garlic powder, and next we have onion powder. So these are some of the basics. I like to put these in everything that I make. Now I'm going to turn the temperature down because I realized I was sizzling a little bit too much than I like. So now we're adding some black pepper, and now we're going to stir it up. Oh, wait, there's more. Now I have some thyme. Got some thyme in your hands? Neither do I. Okay, that's enough jokes for now. Some oregano leaves. And some coriander. And some cumin. And now this is not labeled, but it's basil. Yeah, that's what that is. I was stirring it up again. Notice I didn't add salt yet, just because we want to not put too much salt before we put lentils, because that'll make lentils hard when we do put them in. And now I'm adding crushed pepper. If you're adding crushed pepper, this is for a little bit of zing to it. Make sure you have your fan on, because when those get heated, the air gets spicy. Your throat will burn. Okay. Make sure you have some good ventilation. Now I'm adding celery. I didn't show how to do the celery because it's pretty straightforward. And I only use one stalk of celery. And now I'm adding the crushed tomatoes. You can crush your own tomatoes and slice them. That's fine. I was just a little lazy. All right. And this is the salt. Only a little bit, because I don't want to add too much before I put the liquid in. And now we have the mushrooms. Once again, straightforward how to cut. And that's about the size you want to cut them. And I see it's been a little bit time has passed, and now we're going to add. So this is my broth that I made myself, and they've been frozen because, you know, I don't have any preservatives. And so you're gonna have to let those melt a little bit. And after some time has passed, as you can see per the clock, yeah, nice and melted now. So now we got some full veggie broth. And now I'm adding some more water just to put more liquid in it. And now I'm also adding some almond milk. Right there. Yep. Once again, this is for little kick of sweetness. You're not going to taste it very strongly, but it also is to thicken it up a little bit. And that's exactly why we also have the chickpea flour, just to thicken up our stew a little bit. Don't worry, it won't be white and it won't be noticeable or tastable in the stew. Or sorry, the gumbo. Just to thicken it up a little bit more. So now that we got the water boiling, we're going to go ahead and add our lentils. These are green lentils. I add about 2 cups of those. And now I'm adding the red lentils, probably about a half a cup. Red lentils also thicken up soups, stews, and this gumbo in this case. And so now a little bit more time has passed. I see the lentils are cooking more, so I'm going to go ahead and add my beans. I did use canned, and I did end up soaking them and rinsing them. Yeah. Alright, now we're adding some more seasonings, some more black pepper, just because I tasted it and I'm like, this is missing something. So I added some more black pepper, cumin, and paprika. Once again, you see the rice cooking on the side because I wanted rice with this. Okay, so now this is garlic powder, onion powder. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. You guys can kind of see what it is. Oh, that's salt. That's not labeled, so I'm adding the salt now. But the lentils are already in. And I forgot to add this earlier, but I'm adding it now. Bay leaves. That's once again to bring some more flavor to it. And parsley. I think parsley is the best to add at the end because it is so light and it doesn't take too much to infuse the flavor inside of what you're cooking. And these are, again, little bits of basil. Those are bay leaves earlier, not basil leaves. I don't know if I said that. But anyways, red cayenne pepper, just for a little kick. Don't overdo it if you don't like it spicy. And so this is the rice I made. It was coconut rice. I used coconut oil, and it was so good. And now, here's our finished product. And oh my gosh, it was amazing. It's definitely on the top 3 best things I've made. It was delicious. Just, there's probably nothing I would change from it. Everything just went very well. The only thing that I would change from it is probably adding the bay leaves once the water started to boil. It kind of slipped my mind. I'm like, oh my gosh, bay leaves. So I kind of just added it when I did recall to put them in. Yeah, that's the only thing that I would change. If you are a person who wants a little bit more protein in it and you like the vegan protein meat alternatives, you could always add some vegan sausages in it. Just slice them up and put that in there. You probably should add it closer towards around right before you would add the beans. I'd say put it in there because you want to make sure they're thoroughly cooked, but they're also they're not like meat either, so maybe you can put it in earlier. I don't know, just make sure they're all the way cooked before you eat them. Yeah, once again, this is your meal. Make it your own. I made it my own. Actually, what inspired this meal was I was scrolling through Pinterest, which I get a lot of my food inspiration from, and I saw a vegan gumbo, and I said, I'm gonna try it. So I tried it. I did use some of the same ingredients as they did use from their how to cook theirs. I will also include a link down below to the person who, I don't know if they own the recipe or anything, but I gotta give credit to where credit is due. Not everything is my own in this. The order that I did it and how I did it was my own. But I did get some of the ingredient ideas from that recipe. Okay, that's pretty much it. It's pretty straightforward. It was really amazing. I really enjoyed making it too. It tastes so good. Every day I'm like, oh, I can't wait to eat my gumbo. Okay, so now to conclude this video, I'm going to give you all... Oh wait, oh my gosh, food for thought. Okay, food for thought. Okay, here's your food for thought. What is your favorite meal? Not necessarily plant-based, not necessarily vegan or vegetarian or meat-based, anything. What is your favorite meal? And now, what you're gonna do with that information? You guessed it. How can I make this meal vegan? For example, if you really like eggs, bacon, and toast, look up ways to make it vegan. There's just egg, or if you want to go with more plant-based approach, you can use garbanzo bean flour, mustard, and there's something else I'm forgetting. Yeast. Yeah, there's so many different creative ways you can do. Oh, and then you can use eggplant bacon. There's so many different ways you can make things vegan. You just have to be creative or look things up. There's this amazing thing called the internet and YouTube. Okay, now this brings us to the conclusion of our video and our quotes. As always, you know I got you guys. Okay, this one's by Duke Larson. Life expectancy would grow by leaps and bounds if green vegetables smelled as good as bacon. Well, guess what I'm gonna tell you? They can. You just gotta season them right. Y'all just gotta cook them right. If you know how to cook, just think about different recipes. Think about the different things. There is vegan bacon. I said it earlier. You just use eggplant. It's a whole thing. You just use eggplant instead of meat. I've done it multiple times, and each time it's turned out really great. Be creative, you guys. There's a lot more vegetables and fruits than there are meats. And there's 1,000 more ways to cook them than there are to cook meats. Be creative. Okay, that's all I have for you guys now. Until next week, Sunday afternoon, be ready. Make sure you have that notification bell button pressed so you know when a new video is out. Okay, until then, adieu. Let's go live life.